the Executive Director of Common Sense Adoption Services. Welcome to our YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to do the first of a short series around the matching process, how we go about helping children find families and families find children, and sort of what happens behind the scenes that I think is a bit of a mystery to a lot of families. And joining me in the video today is Lori Teeter, and you can say a little bit about you, because this is your area of expertise, kind of.
So I'm Lori Teeter. Erin and I have been partners for many, many years, and yes, I do meet very directly with families, and I work with the agencies that we provide services for, and we go from there.
Yeah. So what we're going to start with in this video is kind of what to expect at the point that you've been approved, whether it's adoption or foster care, and now we've got to go find the right match, the right children or child for your home. And I think it's sort of like falling off a cliff for a lot of families, because up until this point, there's very clear things you have to do to get to this point. You know, you have to do training, you have an application packet, you have the whole home study, family profile process. It's pretty discreet. But once we've approved you, now the real work starts that isn't so clear. So let's talk a little bit about time frame, because you know, we have a lot of experience doing this, and we do specialize in placing foster children into, in most cases, hopefully a permanent adoptive home. But what's that time frame look like from the work that you do?
The time frame is probably one of the biggest challenges for most families once they get approved, especially if it's a new process, because it's very difficult to answer those questions. We don't have a crystal ball. It's just kind of indiscreet, and even when most parents are preparing to become parents, most families preparing to become parents, they have a time frame. It's usually about 9 months. But with this, it's much more challenging. So we try to help prepare families for what they can do. The time frame is typically, for most families, a few months. If we're good communicators and we're realistic, I think a few months is probably a good, solid thing to expect.
And during that time, there can be a lot happening. It's not just that you're sitting necessarily waiting for the phone to ring. You might be getting calls, and maybe they're just not good matches, or maybe it is quiet. But there's a lot of things people can do during that time to sort of help prepare for that, when that right call, when that placement actually does happen. And so what are some of the recommendations you have for families to sort of use this time wisely?
Staying busy is really a big one, because I think what oftentimes families feel is, am I good enough? Did I do the right things? Am I prepared enough? And I think that becomes a challenge, and the answer is absolutely. So to enhance some of those preparation things, the way to stay the best busy and the best prepared is to start looking at your resources, particularly school. If you are open to a child that would likely be school age and or a sibling group, it's very important to know what resources in terms of academics, education, are in your area. Contact the school, maybe ask to meet with their registration department, let them know that you're planning on being a resource, a foster family. Most school districts we find are very welcoming and often very knowledgeable, and sometimes if they're not, you can be a source for that preparation. Also, maybe try to align with other families in your area that have experience with fostering and adopting through the child welfare system. Speak with your employer if you're employed. Talk to your employer about what your leave could look like. what the terms of flexibility is in terms of becoming a new parent. If you already have children in your home, that may make things a little easier. Sometimes that adds some complexities. But know your community, know who's doing what, know where you can go. Really enhance your support systems.
And childcare is a big issue. We're filming this at summertime, so for families who are focused primarily on school-age kids because they work, summer poses trouble for any working family. There's always a challenge, and then when you add to it that you're fostering, and a child could come tomorrow or in 4 weeks, and what are you going to do? So it's not just looking for childcare programs per se, but maybe informal childcare options. Do you have friends, family, neighbors,
right,
who could help? Because the big unknown is we don't know when that call is going to come and that match is going to happen. And you sort of need to have all those contingencies sort of loosely worked out the best you can. Like, what would you do if it's, today is Tuesday? Suddenly you get a call this afternoon for a placement that could happen tonight. How do you figure out the rest of your week? That's the kind of thing that when we talk to families about preparing for a placement is to start thinking about it in those kinds of terms. How, do you have basics on hand? Like, do you have sort of bedding, a bed or beds, basic supplies, so if you get a call and it is very last minute, you're not checking to see is Target or Walmart still open, and and it is a hurry up and wait, isn't it?
It is. And I think flexibility is really important because sometimes decisions on children and where they're headed aren't immediate. We often get decisions where we thought we were going to bring children over today, but it might be Friday. And that can pose some real challenges for families, but we walk you through that. We help assist you with those plans as best we can and rely on you to find those supports and use us. Communication is another big benefit if we communicate properly together. And that's really important, and I think we offer that good support to our families.
And I think, to kind of wrap up this video before we move into some of the others on this topic, the really important thing during this waiting period is good communication with us. If you're sitting there wondering why hasn't the phone rung, or you're feeling impatient, or you're starting to not trust the process, you're worried that we forgot about you, that it's really important to communicate. Reach out. Mm-hmm. This is an exercise in trust and patience, and I'll make a quick nod to a big issue that we have, which is when we do call you, we need to trust that we can reach you and that you're going to respond quickly, because time is of the essence. I mean, you may sit with no activity maybe for weeks at a time, and then suddenly a call comes, and we kind of need people to drop everything and respond, because with a lot of these placements, they're going to move on to the next, agency, the next. So it's sort of, if you don't act fast, you may miss out. And we'll get into that some more. Sure. But I do think, people staying busy, but make it worth your time. Stay busy in a way that helps you. It's kind of like nesting, really preparing, thinking through all of the what ifs. What would we do? Vacations become something. People worry, should I go on vacation? Of course you should go on vacation, but those are all those things that you just have to be thinking about, how those decisions, those plans could impact a possible placement. So so I hope this was helpful for new families who are wondering what to expect, and our next 3 videos are going to talk more about the matching process and what to expect from that piece. So thanks for joining us. I'm Erin Chick. This is Common Sense Adoption Services.